Hello, everybody. This video is titled, Are You an Investor or Do You Own Investments? Let me start off with a little story. Marcus, a friend, not his real name, Marcus has several accounts. He's got a 401k, he's got an IRA, he's got a brokerage account that he opened up during COVID because everybody was making money. And he checks his accounts, checks on his investments every month or two or three. And when the quarter's going well, when the market's doing great, he's feeling up, he's feeling lucky. And when the market's not doing so well, he's feeling a little down. Now, he can tell you what's in his portfolio. He can tell you what's going on in the markets. He can tell you what the Fed's doing. But if you ask Marcus to explain his investing rules about why he buys certain things or sells certain things, how he does that, how he allocates his portfolio among different positions, he's not so good at being able to describe that. He might even go silent for a little while and stammer a little bit. So is Marcus an investor or does he own investments? Owning investments does not make someone an investor. And the distinction doesn't live in that little pie chart that's on the brokerage statement. You can't really tell by some of the things some people do because it's really not at the behavior level. It's not at the action level where the difference lives. It lives quite a bit deeper. So behavior follows a hierarchy of beliefs. And we've talked about this before, but let's take a look at this model. This is the NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, Logical Levels of Belief, developed by Robert Dilts. And NLP is an area, a branch of psychology. And in this model, there are a series of categories of beliefs that we have. And as you start at the top and move your way down, the power goes up per belief. So we have lots of beliefs about the environment around us. We have certain beliefs about what we do and don't do. We have deeper beliefs, more powerful beliefs about what we can and cannot do. As you work your way down, there's the different beliefs gain power. They also reduce in number. So when you make a change, or when you want to make a change and you change your behavior, what you may notice is even though you've changed the behavior, over time, you may be reverting to old habits. And given this model, that's because none of the lower levels were changed. When you make a change at the identity level about who you are, that tends to change, that change tends to manifest itself in changes in the beliefs above it. So making change at the behavior level doesn't necessarily last or stick. But when you make changes at the identity level, that tends to make changes in your values, capabilities, and behaviors. And those tend to stick a bit longer. So someone who owns investments, that's a behavior, owning investments, experiences the market differently than somebody who is an investor. Somebody who owns investments experiences the market as happening to them. And this is not about intelligence. It doesn't. There are a lot of smart people who know what to do, but then they notice that there's this gap, this behavior gap between what they know to do and what they're actually doing. On the other hand, somebody who is an investor, they bring knowledge about investing, but they also bring a couple of other key elements: self-awareness, commitment. Those two things make a huge difference. They also bring some sort of framework which helps them prepare and respond to the market instead of reacting, right? The actions that an investor and someone who owns investments may be very similar, but the outcomes reliably over time are going to be quite a bit different. Now, I can speak to this personally because for a number of years, 14 years or so, I was trying to be the perfect investor. And that's the identity that I thought I had. And because I had to be a perfect investor, because I was teaching fund managers and individual investors and professional traders how to approach the market systematically, my investing had to be perfect. Meanwhile, it sat in money markets not doing a thing for that entire period. Because I was in front of these people, because I was teaching, I thought, as long as I am perfecting my plan, as long as I'm developing my systems, as long as I'm trying to be the perfect investor, then in preparation for that, I'm holding my money out and I wasn't executing at all. When Van Tharp died a few years ago, I was no longer in front of these people, and I shifted my identity. I allowed myself to become the imperfect investor because I wasn't in front of people explaining how to be a great investor. And as a result of that, and in spite of the discomfort, and I didn't do this randomly or stupidly, I did it deliberately with intention and with a plan that was imperfect, and I executed imperfectly, but my results were great. And after talking to a few people after a period of time about those results, they said, "Hey, you really need to help some other people do this because that's really great. You're doing a lot of really good things, and other people would benefit." And so that was the origin of this business. Now, what's interesting is that I want to explain that the identity that you have and whether you own investments, I'm not making a judgment call about one's better than the other. It's okay. Actually, either one of those is okay. I just want to help you make the distinction, that have the self-awareness that being one or the other generates a set of results that are different down the road. And what matters is awareness about where you are and what you want. So acknowledging the truth will help you make better choices. And something happened yesterday that it has me being a little bit more reflective, a little bit more philosophical. And the being conscious about the choices that you want to make requires honesty about where you are, who you actually are. And if you're approaching retirement and you're able to watch a video like this and think about these kind of things, you probably have the freedom to make all kinds of choices right now that you may have never had before in your life. So what I want for you is that you are able to make those choices consciously, intentionally, and to have a rich life in the coming years. So it's good talking to you this week. Look forward to talking with you again next week. And this video is purely for educational purposes. There is no advice to invest or buy or sell any investments. My full disclaimer statements follow.